The few minutes turned out to be more than a few minutes. It was a very long time, but I don't remember exactly how long it was. But we sat and we talked, and you and Thea told me some things that made me even more sure of where my heart was going. And then we set up I think at that time we said we'd meet. I'd ask if we could meet at the pizza place or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met and we talked even more.
Mm-hmm.
And being an American, I love my country,
mm-hmm.
but being an American, I've heard you hear so many stories, right, from the propaganda, from the news and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, there was so much confusion going on about Islam. And that night, that during that break period when I said with you at the end, then that night when all 4 or 5 of us had to go, and things were just cleared up, and there's just resolve in my heart that I knew that this is what I want to do.
How is the center itself? How is it? What kind of relationship do you have with a place to go when you do? What do you do? When do you go to the center yourself?
I go throughout the day. From time, go to pray. Go to there are books there. Actually, I told myself I was going to build a library. That takes time because you just can't get the books and just put them in there. You have to actually read them, right? But the beginning phase of my library came from the center, alhamdulillah. And also I meet a lot of Muslims there. And the thing about Islam, and I told someone this, is it's really a communal ummah, and it's a communal religion. And I meet a lot of, and I'm not the most communal person, but I've met a lot of Muslims there, Muslim brothers there, all so helpful and wanting to help me in this part or that part. The center is a very important part for me. I tell my wife when I'm leaving, she goes, "Where are you going? When are you going to be back?" I said, I'm going to the center, and she says, "Okay." Some people say I'm going to the pool hall, or some people say I'm going to the club, or I'm going to the beer store. And for me, I'm going to the center. And she knows that I'm going to the center for spiritual reasons. She knows I'm going to be safe. She knows that that I'm not going to be doing things that are going to be tearing our relationship apart. She knows that when I come home, I'm going to have a little bit of a boost, and I'm going to be more of the kind of husband that I should be. And she's actually, I had some resistance in the beginning from her, but actually she's very happy about having the center in my life, having Brother Will in my life, and having Islam in my life, and it's a blessing.
So she realizes that this is actually making you a better husband.
She sees it. She sees it every day. And she calls me honeydew. And sometimes she'll come out of the blue. She'll see me, honeydew, you used to not do this, or you used to not do that. Honeydew, like there's some.
Now you do.
Yeah, I do. No,
you used to be called honey don't.
And now
honey, you don't do this. Yeah. Now you call that.
But I think I'm a lot more understanding of her too. In the beginning, because of there's pushback on both sides, right? And now, since the time she actually helped me to remember a prayer, at that point I realized that the small steps, and maybe she will, maybe she won't, I don't know, that's an old thing.
What would you go through your head now if you saw the Gregory of a year ago and you approached him? What would you notice about him, and what would you say to him?
I would notice, from a personal level, I would notice that beyond the veneer, deeper inside, there was a confused person. And that person was confused not because of not so much because of what was happening in the world, but what was happening internally. And I would tell him, brother, this is the decision that should be made, and that inner confusion that no one knows about but you, and of course your Maker, Allah, can only be solved by a deeper relationship with Allah. And when you make the decision, La ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, when you make that decision, that inner conflict begins to subside. That's what I would say to him. And if I think about that, I grew up in an environment where we're taught to be strong, man, to hide those emotions, you know. And I thought I did a really good job of that, hiding those emotions. But inside, there was a lot of confusion. I liken it to looking at a duck floating on the pond, and you see the duck, and he's just floating gracefully on the pond. But if you were to look deeper underneath the water, you see his feet are paddling like wild. That's how it was with me. Inside, my spirit, my insides were just going like, now it's much more graceful, it's much more, it's not a perfect rhythm, you know, maybe, you know, inshallah, it may eventually be a perfect rhythm, but right, it isn't, but it's so much better than what it once was. And it's that surety isn't something that I've done. It's not about what I've done, it's not about me, I haven't grown me, it's what Allah has done. And, you know, it's brought me to a spiritual place that's even getting deeper and better. So, alhamdulillah.